Hey everybody, my name is Blake Mayer, and I am a junior and senior ELA teacher at Chapman High School in Chapman, Kansas, and this is for AEP 800 Module 1. A little bit about me: I grew up in Alta Vista, Kansas, which for most of you that probably don't know is 15 miles south of Manhattan. I grew up on a family farm. My dad still owns and operates that, so I like to get back and help out there as much as I can, and kind of works with being a teacher, having my summers off. I'm back there full time in the summer. I graduated from Council Grove High School in 2007, and growing up, I've always been into anything outdoors, hunting and fishing. I still do all of that. I was big into sports when I was in high school, primarily football, basketball, and baseball, which probably led me to education as I was given the opportunity to coach while I was in college. I'm a big movie buff. I still am. Netflix has made a huge impact on my life, unfortunately, and I'm very guilty of binge watching things like Making a Murderer. And I'm also very social. I love being around friends and family. Even though I might be quiet in group settings, I do like to be very social with my coworkers and friends and family. Another little tidbit about me: I do own a real estate company with one of my high school buddies, which is kind of what led me to move back to Manhattan, which I will get to here in a little bit. So after high school, I went to Kansas State University. I graduated in 2012, and then I was offered a full-time job right out of college, so I took that. And it wasn't until about 2015 that I decided I needed to go back and finish my teaching certificate. So I graduated again in 2016 from K-State. My first teaching job was at McPherson High School, obviously in McPherson, Kansas, and I taught pre-AP sophomores and on-level juniors, and I absolutely loved it there, but circumstances brought me back closer to home, to Manhattan. So I was lucky enough that Chapman High School had an opening, and I also student taught at Chapman, so it was kind of a perfect fit. So I'm currently at Chapman, and like I said, I'm an 11th and 12th ELA teacher, and it's been a great experience here. A little bit about Chapman: the facilities are brand new. Unfortunately, a tornado took out a lot of the town, including the school in 2008. So it's great to have a new school. It's unfortunate how that new school came about, but here I am reaping the benefits. We have an incredible administration at Chapman. Mr. Souther and Mrs. Thornton are wonderful support systems, and they've been very supportive in my first year here. And they're just always involved as much as they can be, and the students see that, and the faculty sees that. And it's also just a great working community, very supportive, very team-oriented here at Chapman. So the impact of technology on my classroom, I think that keeping up is an absolute must with these kids. We have to keep up with what the kids are not only into, but what they're using. If we can't relate to them, we will lose their interest in a hurry. And I've found that out the hard way, trying to do some, I don't like to say old school, but old school methods that just completely lost their interest right off the bat. So we have to keep up with things that they are into. And along those lines, just the working world is evolving, and I've known some teachers, I've worked with some teachers that are too stubborn to admit that, and they're going to do things the old way. But in doing so, I really think that you're hindering the kids, and if you're not keeping up with the technological advances that are out there and letting them utilize that, you're putting them at a disadvantage, so they won't be able to keep up down the road when they need to know how to use a technology in their lives. So how I use tech in my classroom: we are one-to-one Chromebooks at Chapman, which has been great. And we utilize Google Classroom on a daily basis, whether it's a writing prompt or a quick reading check quiz, things of that nature. We're constantly on Google Classroom. I personally like to use Adobe Spark and Canva. We do a lot of mixed media, art, and things like that to relate to our books and poetry, things of that sort. I love to use Flipgrid, just letting kids talk about their thoughts or feelings on the literature that we're currently working on instead of sitting down and writing. A lot of them hate writing or dread writing, so Flipgrid is awesome with that. And we also work a lot with online databases because they're going to have to use those when they get to the next level, whatever that may be, for research assignments and etc. And then things like Common Lit, we use that for current event articles and things like that. So we try to use as much technology as possible, even though sometimes we do have to sit down and read an actual book, which kind of floors the kids. Um, my future plans for technology is to get the kids involved. Um, there is no possible way that I can keep up with all of the new apps that they are currently using. Granted, a lot of those apps we can't use, but there are some that are beneficial to the classroom and they've pointed out. So I am very open with them if they have a cool app that they think can be used in the classroom to please let me check it out. We also are very lucky at Chapman. Our librarian has a Tech Tuesday where she is just constantly looking over new advances and things like that, and she keeps us up to date with new apps, cool things that we could use in our classroom. So staying up to date with that is something that I am very diligent with, and I like to social network with other educators. I've made some really good friends in the education community, and there's always somebody out there with a new idea or a new way to use technology. As far as funding goes, we try to utilize groups as much as possible. It may be cheating, but getting one account and seeing if we can tag along with that. I'm also selective on what I will ask for funding for. If it's an app that I might use once, I'll probably move on and try to find something else. But if it's something that is going to be beneficial day in and day out, those are the things that I like to ask for that kind of funding for. And then I never quit searching for things to keep up with the changing technology. I think if you get stagnant and you're comfortable with what you're in, the rest of the world is moving on. So I'm constantly trying to keep myself informed about new things that are out there. I look forward to working with you all, and have a great day.